Welcome back once again here, talking about your money on Roundtable today as we are in the halfway point of the year, but never too late to start investing your money. And over the last couple of weeks, we have seen the stock market break records as far as its overall value. But some out there are saying we could be headed toward another crash. We don't want to hear that, but there are things you can do with your money right here, right now. Dennis Postema, he is with Postema Insurance and Investments out of Defiance, Ohio, also founder of the Retirement Institute. He is a best-selling author on Amazon.com. Dennis, thanks for taking the time once again to be here with us. Your newest book, Avoiding a Legacy Nightmare. You come up with that title. It screams to those who are trying to lay the groundwork for their family, for their family's future. But you use the word nightmare, and that cover, I got to tell you, it's ominous. But I think that's the point you're driving home.
Absolutely. And when we decided to put this book out, what happened was we started seeing in our area that there were quite a few people who didn't have their beneficiaries taken care of properly. And literally, we helped them get through that. And they literally went into some nightmares. We had one couple that actually, the husband passed away and his 401k was actually going to his ex-wife. So, you know, proper beneficiaries and making sure that you continue to keep up on that is so important, and it's often forgotten.
Communication and just being on top of things and having doggone common sense, I guess, can be very beneficial.
It's amazing how many life changes people have, and they don't fill out the necessary paperwork to go with those life changes.
I wanted to go through a couple of things with you here, investment fears that people may have out there, get your take on them. These were from a recent poll that was done, but if we can show people at home that first graphic. And I want you to talk through these. U.S. News and World Report saying the 10 retirement concerns for people to get ready for. And we'll go down the list. Boomers turn 65 unprepared for retirement. Number 2, Americans don't understand finances and investments overall, and that federal deficits threaten our way of life. Those top 3, I think we've talked about essentially. And you would agree with what those are, your clients who are coming in, they point to the same things, yeah?
Absolutely. The unprepared for retirement part, we see that all the time, because what happens is a client will come to a financial advisor and they will sit down with them and they will just entrust them. They will say, okay, well, here's my money.
Put it on autopilot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And what happens is 90% of those investors don't actually know what they're investing in, don't know what the advisor's investing in. They just think that once they hand that over, they're taken care of.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons that the books are so important to us and the education is so important to us, because when they sit down with somebody, we want them to then understand, okay, well, here's the direction I want to go, here's my goals. How does that fit in with what your plan would be for me?
It's almost the principles of journalism, the who, what, why, when, how, and where, and make sure that you ask all those questions of your advisor. The next couple of questions or things to prepare for. Social Security is broke and broken. Those are the fears. When should I begin talking or taking Social Security? Get ready. So now that number 5 there, if it's still there, I guess, for people in our neck of the woods. Get ready for inflation and look carefully at retirement fund fees. All of those legitimate fears.
Absolutely. Those are very big fears.
And do you get a lot of Social Security questions?
We get a very large amount of Social Security questions. We actually have software where we can help somebody time out what the benefits are of, say, waiting a few years for their Social Security and what the benefits are of taking it now.
Are you fearful that it will even exist 30 years down the road?
I mean, you know, in 2010...
Everybody says it's during the election process. Everybody said Social Security is going to be broke in X amount of time.
Absolutely. In 2010, what happened was, for the first time in 27 years, is that we collected less taxes than we paid out in Social Security. So they're saying by 2041, it will no longer exist. Yeah. Their plan is to then take 72% from actual people who are the working class, but they don't know, or 78%, I'm sorry, they don't know where the other 22% is going to come from yet. So is it a reasonable scare? Absolutely.
Yeah, let's look at those last 3, put them up at home so people can see them there. Mediocre, how about that? Is that a Freudian slip? Medicare cuts would ruin seniors' futures. Retirees are worried about outliving their money. The principle of your book, and low interest rates hurt retiree incomes. All of these 10 retirement concerns to prepare for. I'm sure people at home are saying, yeah, these 10, they do resonate with me, definitely.
Those are big ones, and I don't want to forget about the one that was on the last one that we had up on the screen, fees. One thing that
Retirement
we see,
fees,
yeah, retirement fees. One thing we see all the time is people do not understand how many fees they're being charged each year because of it's all in that prospectus or whatever they may send every year. That's a big concern. Medicare, making sure that you talk to a specialist in Medicare, because you know the difference in having the right plan for Medicare and taking care of that coverage is amazing how much of a swing that is, and including with the new healthcare reform and whatnot. Everybody is scared about that.
Yeah, and you know, as you're talking there, I'm thinking about the younger viewers who might be watching this afternoon, and they may think to themselves, this doesn't involve me, but like you said, you need to ask questions whether you have an investment planner or not. Go to your HR supervisor and sit down and try to understand this stuff, right?
Absolutely. It's so easy to look at just the dollar amount you make per hour or what that is, but your benefits or what benefits may be offered to you at such a small price could really save you down the road as far as disability or any of those life insurance, things like that.
I want to talk to you, as we discussed on the phone before we came out here today, about the parallels between the stock market versus casino gambling. And you said, I do see what you're drawing at, Jeff, but there's that mentality right now, because the stock market is doing so well, that people are betting, if you will, with house money. And it's just like going to the casino. But what right now is the better bet?
The better bet is actually, you can, with a fixed index annuity, which we talk about in the book, and many annuities do this, but a fixed index annuity, it's as if you're going to the casino, and no matter what, when you leave, you get all your money back. So if you brought $5,000 to the casino, you went and gambled the entire time, you may get great gains, you may win, okay?
Yeah.
But you may not. Worst case scenario, you leave with your money.
Yeah.
And that's how a fixed index annuity works.
I think there was an episode of Seinfeld where Costanza kept splitting even on everything.
Right.
Just there was a whole episode about how nothing could go wrong. He just ended up getting whatever back he had put in.
Yep, absolutely. And
I bring that up for our pop culture moment here on the Roundtable.
Right, exactly. Hey, that makes perfect sense.
But you're saying essentially the annuities are a safe bet at this point. Are going in, is taking some money. Say you have a few $100s, you have a few $1,000s, and you want to invest in stocks. Is that a good bet right now, or is that as much of a gamble as laying your money down on a roulette table?
Well, you want to, whenever you do any of that planning to optimize your portfolio, you want to consider what are you willing to risk. And for me, retirement accounts, in my opinion, and including my own, are not at risk. You can share in market gains with the proper annuity without any investment risk. Now, am I saying that every piece of money you should have should be in annuities? Absolutely not. There's a place for stocks, bonds, mutual funds in your portfolio. But you need to understand that when you plan for that, when you plan for retirement, what you're doing is you're planning to make sure that you cover basic expenses. What can cover your basic expenses? Well, used to be pensions could do that. Used to be, or hopefully Social Security can do that. Well, within a form of an annuity that is properly taken care of with an income rider or setting up the payments, it can actually cover those basic expenses. And that's what your concern should be. Once those basic expenses are covered for you in retirement, no matter what happens with inflation, deflation, once those are covered, okay, now what am I comfortable with over here as far as I have X number of dollars that I can do whatever I want with. I can take it to the casino or, invest it in the stock market. That's how you want to optimize your portfolio. Make sure your retirement's taken care of over here, and then if this does great, that's great. That's just bonus money.
In our last couple of minutes, I want to give you an opportunity. You've got workbooks. If people purchase Retirement You Can't Outlive, you've got a workbook that people can actually, in fact, I said to you when you brought it out here, I'm like, what is that, for like students to work in? And essentially it is.
Absolutely, yep.
Talk about it a little bit. What are people going to be able to do, I guess, as an application? They read, and then they're able to lay down their own numbers, right?
Right. The great thing about the workbook is, and we're firm believers in the workbook, the great thing about that is when they fill it out, they know exactly where they stand with their retirement, with what their goals are, with understanding the book and understanding the process. And so if they properly fill that out, no matter what advisor they go to, they know what their options are and what they're looking to do. And so that's why we're firm believers in the notebook, or in the action guide we call it, because it really does help you get to that next step and know what you want.
Is it like an equation? Is it, I mean, is it a math problem, or it's just the ability to be able to see those numbers down there and,
It's really
and have them make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, you're figuring out what your expenses are. How do you think those are going to increase? Are those expenses covered 5, 10 years from now?
Yeah.
If they're not, what do I have to do in my portfolio to make sure those expenses are taken care of?
And then you find somebody who can make sense of it all, hand these over to them, and it's like a playbook.
Absolutely.
Heading out to the football field, and they're like, this is the way we're going to run the ball.
And the homework's all done at
Yeah.
that point as well.
Yeah. As we go into the latter part of 2013 and we start to look forward to 2014, obviously we get into an election year, a semi-election year, not a general election year, but what's your read right now on the end of the year? How far? Obviously, we know how it's gone so far, but do you have a positive outlook on things?
I do have a positive outlook on things, and you know, no matter what happens with all the different predictions, the market continues to climb.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, hitting records almost daily. So I do have a positive outlook, and all the products that we offer and the different things we suggest, if the market goes up, that's great for us too. So I have an extremely positive outlook on things, and you know, yes, there is going to be a correction at some point,
Right.
but nobody really knows that when that's going to happen or how soon it's going to happen.
Have you been surprised at inflation and where it sits? And do you talk to your clients about that?
Oh, inflation is an enormous topic. Inflation and also healthcare costs and Medicare and the different things like that. And even planning for deflation. All those things are big topics that we discuss with our clients.
Our last 30 seconds, you wanted to mention Jack Canfield's book.
Yes. I am co-authoring Dare to Succeed, which should be coming out very soon with Jack Canfield. Really excited about that, and it's an honor to be in that. It's not a financial book, but it is a motivational book.
Wonderful. Well, as always, we appreciate your time. Dennis, thank you so much. And if you want to learn more about this, we will post some things on our website, 13abc.com. Stay with us. We will wrap things up for this Sunday right after this.